Let's start off with rule number one. Always know your measurements. So you see this right here? This is a fabric tape measure. Cost about $1. Go out and buy one of these. You're going to get 1,000 to 1 return on your investment within 1 year. Why? Because brands and manufacturers, they're putting out size medium. But what does that mean? That's their medium. They use their own models. There isn't a standard across the board. So you need to create your own standards. You need to know, okay, my shoulders are 18 inches across. Guys, if you know your measurements, all of a sudden you're getting out of this all subjective sizing and you're getting into objective, hey, I am this exact measurements. I know in my stomach I'm this. I know in my chest I'm this. So when I put on a jacket, I know what fits me and I'm able to more accurately spot it. Next up, let's talk about a fit audit. Really important for guys out there that have lost weight, gotten into better shape. I talk to these guys all the time. They've lost 50 pounds, put on 20 pounds of muscle. They're looking great. They're feeling good. And their old clothing doesn't fit them. You see, if you continue to wear clothing that was for the old you, well, every time you look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to continue to see the old you. Now, if buying new clothing isn't in the cards, can you get that clothing adjusted? Because ill-fitted clothing, no matter where you're at in your life, never makes a man look good. So know the name of your tailor. Take your clothing in to get adjusted for the body you have today. Now, the next unbreakable rule of men's style is to dress for your body type. And you probably know there are 5 general body types out there. You've got the thin guy, you've got the rounder, thicker guy. You've got the pear-shaped guy. You've got the really fit, muscular guy that spends a lot of time in the gym. And then you've just got the average build. Now, dressing for your body type is incredibly important because there are certain garments that are going to work with certain body types. Even the really muscular guy has items that don't look good on him. If you wear a jacket, a sports jacket or a suit jacket that is too structured in the shoulders, has too much roping there on the end, all of a sudden it can, make you look like a linebacker, make you look like a cartoon character. Versus the guy with the wide hips, he wants to wear garments that actually structure the shoulders, draw more attention to his upper body because his lower body, he wants to minimize that pear shape. And that skinny guy, he loves long sleeve shirts because guess what? On a hot day, he just simply rolls up those sleeves and it looks so much better than a short sleeve shirt that has too much excess material around the bicep area. The rounder, heavy guy, he wants to even out his proportions. So he's looking at tropical weight wool trousers during the summer. During the winter, he's going to go ahead and throw on a little bit longer jackets. He's going to make sure items that look great on, nothing's going to make him look skinny, but he understands that, hey, I want to go more for a monochromatic look so the eyes can go up and down versus going, with a white shirt with dark trousers. It's going to keep our attention on the midsection. The next timeless style rule that every man needs to know, the style pyramid. Fit, fabric, and function. Gentlemen, never buy a piece of clothing that doesn't fit you or cannot be adjusted to fit your body. If it's 95% off, doesn't matter. Don't buy it unless you're buying it for a friend and you know this is going to fit it. Because if something doesn't fit you, gentlemen, it doesn't matter if you paid $2,000, $4,000 for that suit. Guess what? If it can't be adjusted to fit you and it doesn't fit you, it is never going to look good. A $200 suit, a suit that cost 1/10, 1/20th that amount right there is going to look better if it fits you. Fit is king, gentlemen, so never buy anything and never wear anything that doesn't fit your body type. Next up, let's talk about fabric. So when I say fabric, I'm referring to the build, the construction, the materials that go into the items that you're purchasing. To the best of your ability, whatever you can afford, go for the best fabric you can. So particularly with suits, go for 100% wool. If you cannot afford that and you see a 50-50 blend, then talk to the salesman. Try to find someone that's knowledgeable so that he can tell you how is this going to perform. I can tell you that there are some 50-50 blends that are not bad, especially when you get a killer deal. When you spend $300, $400, $500 on shoes, you want to make sure you're getting a Blake Stitch, you're getting a Goodyear Welt. And now let's talk about function. By function, I mean, is the clothing going to serve your professional and personal needs? So if you're a lawyer in New York City, buying a black tie outfit may actually be in the cards. It may work out because you attend a number of black tie events yearly, but if you own a landscaping business down in San Antonio, Texas, do you want to buy a black tie outfit even though you could get one on sale and it would fit you and you can afford it and you can get great fabric? The answer is probably no, and that is the function. You want to make sure when you purchase something that is going to serve a functional purpose, you're going to be able to get miles out of this, because the most expensive clothing you will ever buy is the clothing you never wear. The next unbreakable rule of men's style is to master the use of color, patterns and texture to be able to make an outfit pop, right? I mean, you're looking at this right here. I've got a nice napped weave on this jacket. I've got a nice little pattern to it right there. That little bit of white in the pocket so it grabs your attention. The blue, a monochromatic look. Whenever I stand up, it's going to make me look taller and leaner. That is what we're talking about here. And guys, if you understand this, this is a great way to be able to stand out from the crowd, because so many guys, I get it. They want to keep it simple. They wear the same thing maybe again and again, but you can change it up. You can simply, by bringing in different textures and leather, mixed in with maybe a little bit of a flannel shirt, throw on, a pair of jeans with the denim right there. You've got all blue, but you've got 3 different textures. You can make them work. Maybe bring in just a pop of color. It's a little bit cooler. Maybe you're wearing a jacket, so throw a bright colored scarf on there with a little bit of pattern. All of a sudden, everyone's drawn to that. It's drawn to your chest area. You understand how to use color and pattern and texture to your advantage to really just make an outfit pop. Guys, incredibly important. Now, the next unbreakable rule of men's style is that you have to be confident in what you wear. Now, as you guys know from my channel, I'm more of a classically styled guy, but I get that. Not every guy is like this. A lot of you guys are street style. Some of you guys are going to be more rockabilly, or you've got your own look. The thing is, put some thought into it. And I do think it's a huge advantage if you stand apart from the crowd. I'm not saying you got to be outlandish, but I am saying if you got a bit of style, a bit of flair, it's going to be something that all of a sudden she's going to wonder, who is that guy? And you've got to own this. This is probably the most important part here, is have confidence in what you're wearing. I would just go with your natural style, but step it up, maybe half a degree, but beyond that, all of a sudden it's going to put you outside of your comfort zone. That's what you don't want to do. And I know at this point, some of you guys are saying, well, Antonio, I always just wear a t-shirt, jeans, and running shoes. If that's the case, come on, you've been watching my channel for a while. Guys, step up your daily wear, because here's the thing. You never know when you're going to be making that first impression. That's what I love to see, when you can leverage style and use it to your advantage. Now, specifically, what about jewelry? What about rings? What about necklaces? Other things like that. We talked about piercings. This is something, again, I like it when a man can bring in a bit of personality. Maybe you've got, a certain pinky ring, or you've got a family crest ring, something that you wear, again, day to day. That is perfectly fine. Now, for me personally, I keep it really simple. On my right hand, I've got my wedding ring. I was married in the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. On my left hand, I've got my Oura ring, which tracks whenever I go run and exercise and my sleep patterns. I also love to wear a watch. Tons of options when it comes to watches. Maybe you want to go with a classic dress watch. Maybe you want to go for a dive watch. I like dive watches because I feel I can dress them up, dress them down. But what if you're just a sports watch type of guy? You're a Casio G-Shock, or maybe you're just an Apple Watch kind of guy. Nothing wrong with that. That being said, if it's not your personality, don't do it. All that being said, there is one thing though you got to pay attention to. Your shoes. We've talked about it before, whether you're going to be wearing boots, whether you're going to be wearing sneakers, whether you're going to be wearing dress shoes. Make sure you take care of them. They shouldn't be beat up. They shouldn't be ragged. And your clothing in general should never have stains, holes, or be dirty whenever you're making a first impression. We don't zero in on shoes like the ladies do. Now, again, you could go with Air Jordans. It could be something that, hey, you want to bring in some boots and you like the way they give you a little bit of height advantage, which is another thing that can, boots are never a bad thing, except in a really dressy situation, or you could bring in a pair of Chelsea's. Point being is shine them. If they don't take a shine, then just simply make sure they are clean. They're nice and white if they're sneakers. Now, really quick, I want to show you something. Look at these boots right here. What do you see? A scuffed up toe. Now, I can tell you these are great quality boots, but the fact that they're not polished, the fact that they have a scuffed up toe, that's what people are going to notice. Gentlemen, the same thing applies to you if you don't take care of your grooming. Which brings me to the next unbreakable rule, is never neglect grooming and personal hygiene. Now, there are 8 areas you want to pay attention to: skin care, hair care, facial hair, body care, oral hygiene, nail care, fragrance, and personal hygiene. So with skincare, keep it simple. You want to have just a morning and evening routine. Next up, we've got hair care. And this one should be pretty simple, using a shampoo and conditioner. And you do want to use a conditioner, even if you have short hair, because basically what it's going to do is, if you use too harsh of a shampoo, the conditioner should come in and it should actually coat the hair follicle and protect it. Next up, we've got facial hair grooming. So if you've got a beard, you probably already know a lot about taking care of it. You want to keep this trimmed. You want to keep it on point. You don't want to be letting that thing grow wild, unless I guess you're working as a real lumberjack, not dressing as one. Point being is, maybe look at a beard oil. There's some great smelling ones out there. But if you are shaving your face, one of the things I recommend is to work on your technique. A couple quick tips here: use a shaving oil and then use a shaving gel on top of that. Those 2 layers are going to provide more shower protection. In addition, check out this shaving map. As you can see right here, your hair on your face grows in different directions. And I highly recommend when you're shaving to use shorter strokes. Seriously, gents, you don't want to have that razor going from one part all the way to the other. Instead, take very small strokes. Guys, follow those simple tips and you will have a lot less irritation. Next up, body care. I am of the camp that you should shower daily. I find it just wakes me up in the morning, but I get it. Some of you guys only shower when you get dirty. Hopefully that's once a day. Point being is, you want to shower and wash off the grime. Oral hygiene, guys, brush your teeth twice a day. And I highly recommend you invest in an electric toothbrush. I've talked about Brio, not the sponsor of today's video, but I love their electric toothbrush. In addition, using floss, and only floss the teeth you want to keep, which is hopefully all of them once a day, and use a mouthwash before going to bed or before you're going out. Nail care. This seems simple, but so many guys mess this up. And if you go onto Reddit, there are entire threads dedicated to women that are talking about how, they were getting frisky with a guy and all of a sudden they saw his nails and they're like, those are not going near me. Guys, take care of your nails. Once a week, cut them. Now you've got options: scissors, clippers, a file. The best is filing your nails and go in one direction. But if you're going to use scissors, that's a great option as well. Clippers, understand if they're not good quality, they're actually crushing the nail and they're the worst for your nails. But in any case, simply cut your nails, maybe clip them if you're going to use clippers, and then go over them with a file. And wrapping up physical attributes, let's talk about the way you smell. And I talked about cleanliness at the beginning. I'm assuming you are clean, you are showered. Do you want to wear a fragrance? I like to be discovered, not to announce myself, because it can be a bit off-putting. That being said, if you want a fragrance that in general is going to attract the ladies, go for something a bit sweeter. A lot of guys think this isn't masculine. Guys, I can tell you, vanilla, gourmands, these type of fragrances, the ladies absolutely love them, and that's why they're in some of the most popular clubbing scents. The next unbreakable rule: identify your favorite items in your wardrobe and buy duplicates. I don't know about you guys, but I've got certain items, go-to pieces that I wear a lot more than others. And when those pieces wear out, they get a stain, something happens, they get torn. Well, I used to get frustrated because I just ruined a great piece and I've now got to go out and look for it. I've got to go shopping. That just takes forever. Well, the hack that I learned a few years back is when you find something that you love, you're wearing the heck out of, well, very quickly before it goes out of stock, go buy a backup. Not all trouser brands seem to fit me well. And so for the ones that do, I buy tons of jeans, trousers, slacks, everything I need from that brand. And the ones I wear the most often, I get duplicates. I also do this with shirts. In fact, many of you guys know I love navy blue shirts, which I've probably worn in hundreds of my videos because they're versatile. I can dress them up, I can dress them down. And as a father raising 7 kids, that dark color does a great job at hiding stains. And that right there is super valuable. Point being is save yourself time. Don't stress yourself having to go out there and shop again. And items you know you're going to wear the heck out of and you love, go ahead and buy extra. Next up, we have develop an eye for quality, because when you can spot quality, that means that you'll be able to go into a store and say, hey, this is on sale 50% off. And I know that this jacket is a very high quality, but how do you know what true quality is? Quick shortcut, go into the best menswear store in your area. You want to go in there and touch quality. Go in there, try on quality. Find out more about the details, because when you build up your knowledge and you start to be able to see quality, again, you're going to be able to spot quality when it's on sale. So my next style rule to live by: don't be afraid to spend more if you're going to wear it more. And this goes to my style theory of value. The style theory of value states that the value of a piece of clothing is equal to the number of wears times the way it makes you feel divided by the price. So as an example, let's look at 2 suits. One of them is $200. The other one is a $1,000 suit. Now let's say the $200 suit, it doesn't fit very well, but you can afford it today. It would get the job done. The $1,000 suit though, it looks great. You're so excited. It was more of a painful purchase, but you were able to actually make it happen. So which one was the better deal? Actually, a lot of people are going to say, oh, the $200 suit was cheaper, but don't just look at that. Look at how many times did you wear it. That $200 suit, you wore it 10 times and every time you wore it, you didn't feel great about yourself. That $1,000 suit, you ended up wearing it 100 times. Why? Because you absolutely loved that suit. So 100 wears versus 10. But let's also look at the way it made you feel. Every time you wore that $1,000 suit, you got compliments. You felt like $1,000,000. You performed better. So clearly the higher value suit is the $1,000 suit. The next style rule to live by: buy classics over trends. And I'm not talking cutting edge streetwear. What I'm talking about here are your more classic, basic pieces. And the reason being is because when you spend good money on an item, you want to be able to wear it a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and all of a sudden, those skinny lapels on that jacket that you spent all that money on, you realize they are out of fashion and they never worked for your little bit larger body type. And you realize you just wasted money. And that's what I want to avoid. And there are tons of classic items that you can build your base wardrobe on. And I want to stress, I have nothing against fashion. I think it's something you can introduce into your wardrobe once you have your base built. But your foundation should be classic items. So my next style rule to live by needs, not unnecessary deals. So it's 90% off. Are you going to purchase it? Guys, you should have a simple list of items that need to be in your core wardrobe. So when you're out there shopping and you spot something that's on sale and it fits on that list, of course, go ahead and purchase it. But if it's not on your list, you want to say, okay, am I falling into a sales trap here? Yes, it's 80% off. But I mean, do I really need this? You want to avoid falling into the sales trap and only buy things that are on your core wardrobe list. The next style rule, develop your uniform. You want a baseline style, a baseline look that you default to whenever you don't need to dress up, whenever you don't want to dress down, whenever you just don't want to think and you simply need to wear clothing. You want to look at your needs. You want to look at your life requirements. You want to look at the message you want to send to the world. The next timeless style rule that every man should consider is building an interchangeable wardrobe. So when I say the word interchangeable, what I'm referring to is clothing that is simple, that is going to easily match every other piece in your wardrobe. So if you had 4 pairs of shoes, you had 4 shirts, 4 trousers, and 4 jackets, guess what, gentlemen? If we had 100% interchangeability, we wouldn't have just 4 outfits. We would have 256 outfits. Yes, it's not math in the sense of addition. This is multiplication. And what I love about this is you can own less clothing, get tons of outfits. When you travel, you can travel light. When you understand the power of interchangeability, it gives you the ability to spend less time thinking about what you're going to wear and simply being able to put together a wide range of combinations and always look good. Now, this next style rule you're going to love because it makes things easy, and that is develop style systems. So systems are structures that make things simple. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to be thinking in the morning when you're getting dressed, what am I going to put together? Where are the things I'm looking for? You want it to be easy. So when you're developing a style system, you've got a closet that is free from debris. What am I talking about? All the stained clothing, the clothing that doesn't fit you, the things that don't look good on you. Guess what? You've packaged up, you've put to the back of your closet. When you go to look for your sunglasses, you realize, oh, I've got a whole box where I keep my sunglasses and I put them back after I'm done wearing them. You've got a box for your watches, maybe even a watch winder that keeps your watches wound. And what happens here is it becomes easier to look good than it does to look bad. Now, this next tip, laying your clothing out the night before, it may take you back to when you were a kid. Yeah, your parents did it for you, your grandparents did it for you. Well, guess what? They were onto something, because when you lay your clothing out the night before, guess what? In the morning, you don't have to think about it. When you wake up 10 minutes late, you're jumping in and out of the shower, you don't have to go through your closet to find which shirt matches the trousers, matches the shoes, matches the necktie or the jacket. No, you've already thought through that. Instead of starting the day with anxiety and pressure, you are just smoothly shooting through your morning. The next unbreakable style rule is to avoid making silly mistakes when it comes to men's style, like wearing square-toed shoes, or not matching your leathers, or buttoning that bottom button on a suit. Because if you make these mistakes, obviously you are a style rookie, right? Now, gents, not making style mistakes, that is an important part to dressing well. And those rules are put out there so that beginners, when they're getting started, they don't embarrass themselves. How about dressing your age? I mean, if you're in your 20s, you probably have a particular set of style rules and guidelines you need to follow than if you're in your 60s, somewhat. Because if you're in your 60s, if you're in your 50s, if you're in your 40s, people are looking up to you. You most likely are in a position of leadership, whether you like it or not. Maybe you're a father. Maybe you're the head of a company that you had started just out of your garage. Now you've got 50 people that are showing up and their livelihoods depend on you. Guess what? You need to dress the part as a leader. It may be a blue collar factory type of company, but still there is an expectation that you are guiding the ship. You may get your hands dirty, and so you want to wear something that's pretty practical. At the same time, you got to go in there and sell future investors on why you deserve that money so that you can expand the operation. If you're in your 20s, I do think a younger guy, you're in your teens, maybe even early 30s, you can experiment a lot more. Society's pretty forgiving on what you can try. And this is a time for you to go out there and to try all different types of looks to find your unique style. So as you can tell, dressing your age, something important to understand. The next rule is to know whether your shirt should be tucked in or left out, because some shirts aren't. So let's break it down. Dress shirts, always want to tuck those in. Work shirts made from flannel, chambray, you want to make sure to tuck those in. Undershirts, tank tops, those usually are worn under a shirt. Yes, you're going to want to tuck those in. So shirts that are meant to be untucked are going to be more casual shirts. So polo shirts, Hawaiian shirts, t-shirts, to an extent, you can tuck in t-shirts, button-up shirts that are short sleeve, more for sport, made to be worn in hot weather. Guayaberas, those are made to be worn untucked. Now, let's look at the bottom and the design of the shirt. If it goes straight across, most likely that shirt is meant to be untucked. However, if it's too long on you, it's going to look bad. Once it starts to cover your backside, that's a shirt that you want to tuck in. If it actually has it so it's got tails in the front and in the back, and that basically means over on the side, if it looks like this, then you want to wear this tucked in. The next rule is to understand men's jackets and how to wear them. So the first thing we're going to talk about is buying the right jacket. And let's talk about jacket linings. So most jackets are fully lined. It's inexpensive and they're going to be able to hide all the inner construction in the jacket. If you were to ever open up a jacket inside, it's pretty messy. When you have a half lined or a quarter lined jacket, you in a sense need to finish the inside. It's going to be more expensive in general because it requires more handwork. So when you're going to buy a suit, you're going to notice there are 2-button suits, there are 3-button suits, there are also some 4-button suits, and there are even 1-button suits. 2 or 3 buttons are going to be your options. And for 95% of you, you want to go with the 2-button suit. But basically on a 2-button, you're always, when standing, going to button that top one. On a 3-button, you're going to button the middle one, always, never button the bottom. Now this next rule is really easy, and that is to bring in a bit of color. Again, color is like a spice. You don't need to add a whole lot to pull out the flavor of the outfit. But yeah, going with just all dark colors, yes, it makes you look, like an authority figure, maybe makes you look a bit imposing. But why not have a little bit of fun? Maybe throw in a pocket square. If you wear glasses, go for glasses with a fun color, yellow, red, maybe a fun blue. Because the fact is, color draws the eyes, it draws a bit of attention, and it can work really well for you in a creative field. People associate those that wear color as being more outgoing and someone with original ideas. Now, this next rule is really important, and it is to stay educated. And gentlemen, it doesn't stop at my channel. Go check out Raphael over at the Gentleman's Gazette. Kirby Allison's another great channel. My friends Hugo and Sonia Jacomet. You've got Alex Costa, Jose Zuniga, Tim DeSaint, and of course, one of my best friends, Aaron Marino over at Alpha M. But honestly, the best information is still in the stacks. I'm talking about the books. Yes, they're still out there. So Alan Flusser's Dressing the Man, still one of the best out there. We've got Bernhard Rotzell's Gentleman. And a modern classic is Douglas Hand's The Laws of Style. Absolutely love this book. And if you want inspiration, check out the various books from Josh Sims. This one, Men of Style, is awesome. That being said, if you're a James Bond fan, if you want to do a deep dive into his outfits and all the sartorial details that went into them, check out this right here from Tailors with Love, An Evolution of Menswear Through the Bond Films by Peter Brooker and my friend Matt Spacer. Seriously, I was on the phone the other day with Matt and he put his heart and soul into this book. It's an amazing read. The next unbreakable rule is to know the tools of your trade. If you want to be a well-dressed man, you've got to know how to shine your own shoes. When it comes down to sewing on a button, an emergency sewing kit, carry this with you because when you're about to go into that interview, you're traveling and all of a sudden a button pops off, you've got to know how to fix it. So the most important rule when it comes to style is quite simple, and it's that you need to give a damn. You need to know what your why is. You need to know what you stand for to become the man you know yourself to be. I talk about this a lot on my channel, but understand that this is just an outfit. This is just clothing. It doesn't matter. What matters is you and your core values, what you stand for, what you want to achieve in life. And clothing is a tool to achieve that success, to achieve that goal. And you need to know what that is because you're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort putting your best foot forward. But what's more important is that you can use it as a tool to accomplish your mission. And maybe something simple that simply you think you deserve this. You've worked hard. You're a single guy out there just simply trying to be your best self, to make yourself and your family proud. Well, great. And with that being said, gents, let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. I had a lot of fun with it. I'd like to make more like this, but let me know. And if you want to watch another video that I think I had a lot of fun putting together, boom, I got you covered right here. Go check it out. Oh yeah, boom, click right there.